video link. Stephen Kinnock.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The Labour Party stands in solidarity with the 9 British citizens, including members of both houses, who have been sanctioned by the Chinese government solely for calling out Beijing's appalling human rights abuses against the Uyghur people in Xinjiang. We welcome the Prime Minister's invitation to those who were sanctioned to meet with him, and we do hope that the government is providing those individuals with adequate advice and support. However, we are deeply concerned about the rank hypocrisy and inconsistency in the government's actions regarding China. When Beijing introduced the Hong Kong national security law last summer, the UK withdrew from 2 UK-China government investment forums, JETCO and the EFD. But it is reported that these forums are now reopening. Can the Minister confirm this? On Hong Kong, does he now agree with the opposition that British judges who serve in Hong Kong are only lending a veneer of credibility to a broken system, and that they should therefore withdraw? Lord Reed's review was announced in November. When will its conclusions be published? And where are the Magnitsky sanctions against Carrie Lam and the human rights violators in Hong Kong? Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Foreign Secretary in January said, we shouldn't be doing trade deals with countries committing human rights abuses well below the level of genocide. And yet the government whipped its MPs against the genocide amendment to the trade bill. Can the Minister explain this rank hypocrisy and why the Foreign Secretary says one thing in public and something else altogether in private? The government claims to be alive to the threat that Chinese state-backed investment poses to Britain's economic security and prosperity. So why on earth is the Business Secretary weakening our defences by watering down the National Security and Investment Bill? Today, Taiwan suffered the biggest Chinese military incursion into its airspace to date, of 25 planes. What conversations is the Minister having with his counterparts about this worrying development? Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is clear that the government has no strategy on China at home and no strategy on China abroad. Will the government now commit to an audit of every aspect of the UK-China relationship so that we can finally call time on the Conservatives' failed golden era strategy and replace weakness, division and inconsistency with an approach that is instead based on strength, unity and consistency?
I thank the honourable gentleman for his questions. The reality, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, is the UK has always wanted a mature, positive relationship with China that has to be based on mutual respect and trust. There's still considerable scope for constructive engagement and cooperation, but we will not sacrifice our values or our security. And it's worth getting on the record, China is an authoritarian state with different values to the UK. We continually act on matters on which we do not agree. This includes human rights, and it also includes Hong Kong. He mentioned Hong Kong. The prosperity and way of life for Hong Kongers relies on respect for fundamental freedoms, and this does include an independent judiciary and the rule of law. We're fully committed to upholding Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy and rights and freedoms under the joint declaration. He referenced the national security law. The imposition of these new rules, which include disqualifying elected legislators and changes to the election processes, clearly constitute serious breaches of that joint declaration. We consider Beijing to be in a state of ongoing non-compliance with the Sino-British joint declaration. On Taiwan, yes, we are clearly concerned by any action which raises tensions in the Taiwan Strait and risks destabilising the status quo. We have taken a long-standing policy that the Taiwan issue is one that needs to be settled peacefully by the people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait through constructive dialogue. We continue to work with Taiwan constructively on economic, trade, education and cultural ties, and I think this relationship brings huge benefits both to the United Kingdom and to Taiwan.